All right, we're joined by UFC featherweight Chase Hooper. Picked up a big win on the weekend. Chase, how's it going?
Doing good. It's always good to not look like you got into a fight a couple days later. So it's nice not having to limp around or anything. Uh, you know, Jaw's not sore. Everything's pretty good on my end.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you got in a fight like 3 days ago. Like, did you really sustain much injuries or any damage in that fight?
Nothing crazy. I've got this little I've got a ton of scabs on me from the canvas for the
Mhm.
UFC mats. Like they just tear your skin up, especially if you're grappling, because it's so much. It's closer to like a boxing ring where it's like more sandpapery. That's why you don't see people like slipping all the time. But it's rough for the grappling. But I can't complain if that's the worst of my things I'm dealing with right now.
Did that fight go about like as really perfect as it could have? Like a pretty one-sided fight, and then to get the finish, like how happy are you with that then?
Yeah, I was trying not to run through too many like crazy scenarios in my head or like not get too attached to any like particular way to win. But I was definitely I was ready for it to go the full 15, but I was definitely happy afterwards that it didn't go that long. Yeah, I guess it was super tired by the end. That was crazy high pace. Definitely a good confidence building fight. There was some stuff. Obviously, there's always stuff to work on. But I listened to my coach, switched stuff up in the third round, and then made the adjustments that we needed to, and again, like finished a guy that's never been finished. Out grappled a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt from Brazil, also a judo black belt, as you can see with the throws. So it's this guy wasn't a slouch. He was a high level opponent, and yeah, I think I'm starting to come into my own a little more and figure out what style is actually gonna work best for me in the octagon here coming up.
Do you think that was the best you've looked in the UFC? Because I thought that was your best performance.
Yeah, definitely a little more like not as chaotic, I guess, a little more measured in a lot of areas. Um, yeah, I think definitely the best overall as far as my wins go, and I was glad to be able to show that my cardio, whether it's to myself or whatever, just showing that I can go that crazy high pace for that long against a guy who I was expecting to have great cardio. So yeah, I'm really happy with it for sure.
Something we talked about before the fight was you working on your ground and pound, so it's not just a submission threat on the ground. Like, how happy are you that you could prove that in a fight and get another ground and pound win?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely good. Kind of like when my coach told me to stop focusing on the submissions, it kind of hit me like even like on my end of things, like when I'm in more the autopilot mode, when I'm tired or like getting beat up, even then my like submission defense is still number one, especially in the grappling. So, especially for my opponent, I knew he was going to still be on point with the defense. So, I had to soften him up a little bit with the strikes more than anything, because he doesn't want to get subbed out by some scrawny little white kid from the U.S. Um, so yeah, it worked. It was a little shift game plan wise, I guess, just in the moment, but it definitely worked out. I'm happy with it.
And then in our talk before the fight, something that stuck out to me was how you were saying how this performance is gonna be the one that shows everyone that you belong. Like, do you think that kind of proved it that you proved that you are like a legit guy in this division?
Definitely, I really am happy with pretty much everything in that fight. Obviously, there's always stuff to improve on, and I'm not like I feel like I'm doing a really good job mentally for myself, at least with this fight, of being happy with it, but not just being content with where I'm at. Um, like I was already back in the gym last night training. I didn't get too beat up, so I'm able to kind of get back to work and kind of get looking forward to the next one here. Um, but yeah, I definitely do feel like I belong now, and I've really showed a lot of improvement for myself, and good mental side of things. So the fight itself, like waiting which is always the worst part, as wasn't too crazy bad for this one. So, like the anxiety was pretty low. I felt super calm the day of, which just kept kind of, um, reinforcing the confidence and just not putting a ton of anxiety on the fight itself. And I feel like that really helped me going in there to just kind of not respect Felipe too much and just really put it on him.
You were a betting underdog there. Do you have a lot of friends and family that made some money off you then?
I'm sure. I don't know. I try not to ask people about that type of stuff, but I don't know. It's like a weird, like added pressure to know, like, oh,
Yeah.
someone put their money on me, that type of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the odds makers were thinking. Even I feel like it would be pretty close on paper. A 2-3 guy going against a 2-2 guy, both jujitsu guys. Um, but the thing that I would have assumed would tilt it in my favor would be the height and the weight difference.
Mhm.
Um, but again, I don't know what the odds makers are looking at on that side of things, and eh, the odds don't matter at the end of the day, only the result. So happy with it.
And and then a 50K bonus, your first one in the UFC. Like, how happy were you when you found out that you got the bonus?
Yeah, it's I've had harder fights for less money, so I'm really happy with it. This is my third finish in UFC. I finished every fight that I've won. So I'm glad that they gave me the nod for that finally. Because again, like I was kind of saying going into it, is like people are like, oh, like that sucks to be on a fight night, but not with that side of things. Like the bonus, that's what really matters. Like I don't care if less people are watching or if people are like, oh, like you're on a boring card, whatever. I still get paid the same regardless. And this time I ended up getting a bonus because the card was a little slimmer than these super stacked pay-per-views that I've been on. So no complaints over here at the end of the day. And that extra paycheck is really helpful here. Real
Uh,
nice.
do you got plans for it, or is it just more into the savings?
Uh, Sort of. Tentatively both, kind of. I'm trying to move into a house, so this is gonna be like put down. Obviously, hopefully have the down payment already figured out, but try to get the mortgage covered for like at least a year, so then I can just take stress off of the
Mhm.
bill side of things. Because I don't know, chains and nice clothes will only get you so far, but having a place to live is always nice.
Like we kind of talked about, you didn't take a whole lot of damage. So, like, when are you kind of hoping to get back in there? Because you had a long layoff. Like, imagine you want to get in there pretty soon.
Yeah, I just I have a couple little things where the doctors wanted me to get him checked out, that type of thing, but nothing crazy major. Just maybe a little extra recovery time, but yeah, I definitely I want to get another one in before the year ends, and then maybe start off 2023, I guess, early get on one of those cards. So yeah, I don't know. At least another fight by the end of the year. We'll see kind of what UFC wants from me, and I'm gonna be down in Vegas for International Fight Week, so I'm gonna be doing the heading to the PI and doing some of the tests that they have down there, just to kind of see, because I do get pretty big like walking around like without even trying. So just kind of seeing whether or not 145 is in my future or how much longer that is gonna be there for. So it's everything's kind of tentative. The next couple weeks, next month or so, hopefully get that side of stuff figured out, and then back to business, back to work, and keep stacking the paychecks, and keep moving forward in whichever division I end up in, and keep just kind of building the highlights overall in my career, and yeah.
Do you think a lightweight move is like pretty soon, or do you think that's like still maybe a couple years away when you start adding more weight as you kind of grow?
Um, I don't know. Like I'm still doing like the vegetarian thing to stay at 145. I'm not eating a ton of meat because I feel like that's gonna really pack the mass on a little bit. and I'm having to diet pretty hard to get to where I need to be for fight week in order to cut the weight to make 145. But again, once I did make that, walking in at like 65 on fight week, I had one of the easier weight cuts that I ever have, as far as like the bath and the sauna stuff goes. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna really ask the folk at the PI, that resource is there, and I'm gonna really take whatever they have to say to heart, and kind of just take their advice from there.
Just two more things. You're a popular guy that gets called out a lot. So, like, do you really care who's next, or do you think it's just really whoever the UFC gives you, or are you going to be paying attention to kind of all these call outs?
No, I never really pay attention to the call outs. It's one of those things where like it makes a lot of sense for people because I'm not like a Jeremy Stevens or like someone like that or like a Josh Emmett. Like these guys will like brutalize you. Like they're gonna like beat you to a pulp if they can. Whereas like I think there's a lot. I'm a very high reward, low risk type of fight. Like if people lose to me, it's like, oh, I got TKO'd a little bit, or like I got out grappled and choked out. Like you're not gonna get brutally knocked out by me yet, I guess. So I think that's where a lot of people are seeing that as a potential call out, and then like they're trying to snag me while I'm young and not quite as developed physically. But it is what it is, and at the end of the day, like the call outs only mean so much. Like UFC, if you go to them even sometimes and you're like, hey, I want to fight this guy, they'll be like, okay, well maybe, and then they'll just give you whichever fight they want. Like at the end of the day, Dana, Sean, and Mick, they have the ultimate say, and they'll just kind of put you wherever they feel. They'll match you up with whoever, and it's kind of so I'm not putting too much stock into people calling me out because I understand it from their side of things. It's a really high risk or a high reward fight if they were to get it, and a lower risk. So, is what it is, and we'll see where we're at.
Just last thing, are you hoping the next fight though is in front of fans, or you kind of like the Apex?
I really like the I don't know, just like it's so laid back at the Apex. Yeah, that is rough. We didn't get any tickets, so my lady couldn't watch the fight. She had to watch it from the fighter hotel. But that'd be nice to get in front of the fans and all that. But again, with the fight nights, the bonuses are a little more of a thing. I think wherever I end up next, I'll definitely be a little higher up on the card, and I think my media schedule will be a little more packed this next time. I remember last time I was having other like journalists and stuff like reach out, be like, "Hey, where were you at on the press conference stuff? Like, I had some stuff prepared for you." So, that's always cool to hear that people are like wanting to talk to me. Which again, like the worst thing to have happen in the sport is for people to not care or like not know who you are. So, I'm really happy with however things are going, and whether UFC wants to put me on an Apex show, whether they want to put me on a pay-per-view, wherever, I'm good with it.
Well, Chase, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Sweet. Yeah. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah.